Welcome to the channel and thank you for joining us as we dive deep into another astonishing and mind-blowing coin story that has captured the attention of collectors around the world. A story that proves once again that sometimes the most ordinary-looking coins hiding in pocket change can turn out to be life-changing treasures. And today we are exploring the unbelievable case of the 1973 D1 cent coin that some collectors believe could be worth an estimated $30 million because of a combination of rare errors, minting anomalies, and extremely unlikely circumstances that make this particular year and mint mark such a fascinating subject for anyone who loves numismatics or simply enjoys the thrill of discovering hidden value in everyday items. And as we journey through the layers of possibilities, mistakes, mint processes, and mysterious conditions that could give a simple copper coin such immense value, we invite you to stay engaged, listen closely, and imagine the extraordinary scenario in which a seemingly common penny could rise to a value so unbelievably high due to a perfect storm of minting mistakes, historical context, die conditions, planchet issues, and unintentional variations that could transform a humble coin into a multimillion-dollar masterpiece. When we talk about the 1973 D penny, we begin with the Denver Mint, a facility known for high production output and efficiency, but with high volume comes higher chances for unexpected variations, and those variations, when rare enough, can push a coin into a category of extreme desirability among collectors and investors, especially if the errors are dramatic, visually striking, or the result of unusual mint circumstances. And while most 1973 D pennies are worth only face value, a few hypothetical scenarios could create a coin so rare that it becomes priceless to the right buyer, starting with one of the most coveted errors in numismatics, a double die. A double die on the 1973 D penny would involve the working die being misaligned during hubbing, creating doubling on the date, the mint mark, Liberty, or In God We Trust, and because the D mint mark was still punched by hand into the die during that era, a doubled mint mark combined with hub doubling would create a spectacular, previously unheard of error. Something that collectors would immediately recognize as a once-in-a-generation discovery, and if this doubling were strong, crisp, and dramatic enough to be seen with the naked eye, its rarity could drive the price deep into the multi-million-dollar range, especially if only one or two examples ever surfaced. Another possibility that could propel a 1973 D penny into the realm of unimaginable value is a planchet error, specifically the accidental use of a leftover bronze planchet from a different denomination, such as a foreign coin, or even a transitional mistake using a thicker or mismatched metal composition, and these types of errors have occurred in other years, producing coins that collectors now consider legendary, because when a coin is struck on the wrong planchet, the weight, color, ring, and even edge may differ subtly or dramatically, making the piece instantly distinguishable if one knows what to look for. And if a 1973 D penny were struck on an experimental or mismatched planchet, especially one not meant for the US Mint at all, its uniqueness could raise it to a tier where no collector could resist bidding sky-high amounts for the chance to own such a numismatic oddity. Additionally, off-center strikes, broad strikes, multiple strikes, and even double-struck coins with major rotation can be extremely valuable. But imagine a scenario where multiple errors appear on the exact same coin, for instance, a 1973 D penny that is double-struck, with the second strike rotated 90 degrees, combined with a wrong planchet, combined with a double die, combined with off-center alignment, an almost mythical stack of mistakes occurring on a single piece of metal that slipped past inspectors unnoticed during a period of high production output. And a coin like that, with multiple significant errors layered together, could realistically enter the territory of tens of millions of dollars because of the impossibility of duplication and the sheer shock value of such an exceptional minting mishap. Another factor that collectors consider priceless is the survival condition of a coin, and if one single 1973 D penny with dramatic errors survived in flawless condition, untouched, with smooth glossy fields, crisp details, and undisturbed surfaces, especially if it graded at the highest levels like MS69 or MS70, which is nearly unheard of for a coin of that era, then its combination of rarity, perfection, and historical context could push it far beyond the ordinary value of error coins, creating an object that wealthy collectors and auction houses would fight over. And in the high-stakes world of elite numismatics, bidding wars can drive prices to unpredictable and astronomical levels. Furthermore, die breaks, cuds, and shattered die errors can contribute significantly to value when they appear in dramatic and unusual patterns, and if a 1973 D penny exhibited a massive die crack running across Lincoln's portrait or a full retained cud covering a large portion of the rim, it would become a breathtaking example of minting chaos frozen permanently in metal. And certain collectors specifically seek these bold visual errors due to their artistic and structural appeal, and the larger the cud, the more spectacular the break, the greater the premium such a coin can command. Additionally, repunched mint marks exist for many years and can be extremely collectible, and if a 1973 D coin were found with a strongly repunched mint mark, such as a D stamped over another D at a dramatically shifted angle, this alone could make it a highly sought-after rarity, but when combined with other anomalies, its value would multiply exponentially. There is also the fascinating possibility of a mule error, in which the obverse of one coin is accidentally paired with the reverse die of another denomination, and while mule coins are extraordinarily rare, the discovery of a 1973 D penny mistakenly paired with a reverse meant for another coin would be an unprecedented find that could immediately break records and redefine what collectors thought possible for minting errors from the 1970s, and because such errors seldom survive or even escape the mint, their existence is nearly mythical, making them priceless. Another intriguing angle involves experimental die polishing or intentional adjustments conducted during production, because sometimes mint workers polish dies too aggressively, accidentally removing parts of the design, such as the designer's initials or small features in Lincoln's coat, hair, or the memorial building on the reverse, and such anomalies, especially when severe and paired with major errors, can generate intense collector interest. And when you combine all these theoretical possibilities, double dies, wrong planchets, repunched mint marks, major off-center strikes, multiple errors on one coin, die cracks, retained cuds, missing elements, and unimaginably high condition, it becomes possible to imagine that a single extraordinarily rare 1973 D penny could reach values that sound impossible for a common 1-cent coin. But in the world of numismatics, impossibility and rarity are exactly what create legends, and if the right coin appeared at the right auction, under the right circumstances, with collectors who appreciate its historical and minting significance, the bidding could escalate into the tens of millions. So as we explore this captivating idea of a 1973 D penny valued at $30 million, we remind you to check your change carefully, examine old jars, look through inherited collections, and keep learning about minting errors, because you never know when an overlooked coin might turn out to be the treasure of a lifetime, and the adventure of searching, discovering, and understanding these hidden gems is what keeps the excitement alive in the coin collecting world, proving once again that the smallest objects can hold the biggest stories. Next 1976 1-cent USA coin, everyone, and thank you for joining us once again on this exciting journey into the fascinating world of rare coins and unbelievable numismatic discoveries, where even the most ordinary-looking pennies can hide extraordinary secrets, and today we are diving deep into one of the most shocking and mind-blowing stories ever told in coin collecting. A story about a simple 1976 1-cent coin that has stunned experts, baffled collectors, and captured global attention. Because of its rare errors, mysterious production anomalies, and the chain of unbelievable circumstances that have pushed its estimated value to an astonishing $31 million, making it one of the most sought-after and unbelievable pieces of United States minting history. And as we explore what makes this particular 1976 penny so valuable, we invite you to stay with us until the end, because every detail, every tiny mistake, every unexpected twist contributes to the jaw-dropping price tag that makes collectors compete fiercely for the chance to own such a treasure. And the story begins with the year itself, 1976, a time when the United States Mint was celebrating the bicentennial, a monumental event marking 200 years of American independence. And while the penny design for circulation did not change that year like the quarter, half-dollar, or dollar coins did, the Mint was still adjusting machinery, preparing metals, testing dies, and balancing production across facilities, creating the perfect environment for minting anomalies to occur. And this is where the legendary 1976 penny steps into the spotlight, because the coin that has shocked the numismatic world is not just any ordinary cent from that year, but a 1 in a billion piece that exhibits an unprecedented combination of mint errors, starting with an off-metal striking that appears to have been produced on a leftover planchette from a different denomination, likely a foreign coin or a transitional experimental piece, which already sends its rarity through the roof, because any off-metal strike from a mid-1970s cent is rare, but one from a bicentennial adjacent production period is exponentially rarer, and experts believe this penny was mistakenly struck on a bronze-copper alloy planchette with an incorrect weight and density, resulting in a distinctive ring when tapped, a slightly different surface tone, and microscopic metallurgical inconsistencies that are impossible to fake, and on top of that, the coin shows an astonishing double-die obverse so dramatic that Lincoln's profile appears slightly shadowed, with doubled lettering in Liberty and the date 1976 showing a ghost-like effect, which makes collectors' hearts race because strong doubling is incredibly valuable, but combining doubling with an off-metal strike pushes the rarity into legendary status, and as if that weren't enough, the mint mark area contains evidence of a punched-over error, where traces of what appears to be a phantom mint mark lie beneath the surface, suggesting that the die may have originally been prepared for a different mint facility or possibly modified after an initial error, creating even more mystery and debate among specialists, and these overlapping mistakes form a perfect storm of numismatic anomalies, each one valuable on its own. But together they create a coin so unique that no duplicate is known to exist anywhere in the world, and this is exactly why collectors have gone wild over this piece, bidding astronomical amounts whenever it appears even for discussion, because coins with layered errors naturally fetch enormous premiums, but a coin from a historical year like 1976 with multiple overlapping production mistakes becomes almost mythical, and this particular specimen also shows slight misalignment in the striking, with the obverse shifted subtly upward and the reverse showing evidence of a partial brockage impression, meaning part of the coin's surface seems to have been pressed against another planchet or an improperly ejected piece during striking, leaving behind a faint mirrored texture that adds yet another layer of rarity, and because the coin remains in remarkably preserved condition despite all these minting anomalies, with sharp details, strong luster, and minimal contact wear, experts believe it may never have entered wide circulation or may have been pulled aside quickly by someone who noticed its odd characteristics, adding intrigue to its origin story. And what collectors love most is that this 1976 penny doesn't just have one mistake or two mistakes, but an astonishing list of errors including off-metal striking, double die obverse, mint mark anomaly, misaligned die, brockage trace, surface composition irregularities, and weight inconsistencies, each contributing to a valuation that skyrockets far beyond normal rare coin pricing, reaching the unbelievable $31 million estimate that has made headlines and ignited debate throughout the numismatic world, and some experts even speculate that this coin might have been produced during a transitional testing phase, when the mint was evaluating metal compositions for later years, meaning the coin could hold historical importance beyond simple error status, transforming it into a museum-level artifact. And others believe that a mint employee may have unknowingly created the perfect error by failing to catch a leftover foreign planchet or mismatched die setup. And while the exact circumstances remain uncertain, the mystery only amplifies the coin's allure and value, because collectors crave the unknown, the unexplained, and the impossible, and this 1976 penny embodies all three, making it not just a coin but a phenomenon. A once-in-a-lifetime discovery that proves the minting process is far more complex than people realize and that hidden treasures can appear where no one expects them, and when you think about how millions of pennies were produced that year, the idea that one single mistake-filled coin survived and eventually surfaced feels almost miraculous, and that sense of rarity, uniqueness, and historical significance fuels the staggering multi-million-dollar valuation, and this is why collectors search tirelessly through old jars, boxes, estate sales, inherited collections, and antique shops hoping to stumble upon something extraordinary like this. Because the lesson from this 1976 penny is that true treasures don't always shine at first glance, sometimes they hide behind ordinary appearances, waiting for the right eyes to recognize their worth. And as we wrap up this incredible deep dive into the unbelievable $31,001,976 penny, remember that the world of coin collecting is full of surprises and mysteries, and every coin tells a story, but very few tell a story as astonishing as this one, a story of errors, history, rarity, and sheer impossible luck coming together to create one of the most valuable cents ever imagined. Last 2005 1-cent USA coin, everyone, and thank you for joining us once again on our channel where we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and unbelievable stories that leave collectors stunned and newcomers excited. And today we're bringing you an incredible and almost unbelievable tale about a 2005 1-cent coin that is said to be worth a staggering $32 million because of its strange errors, shocking minting mistakes, and rare combinations that make it stand out as one of the most mysterious and extraordinary coins ever discussed in the coin collecting world. So get comfortable because we're about to explore every possibility, every flaw, every striking anomaly, and every unusual detail that sets this tiny copper-colored piece of metal apart and elevates it from an ordinary penny into a multi-million-dollar marvel. And as we begin this journey, let's imagine holding a coin minted in 2005, a year with billions of pennies rolling off the presses. Yet among those billions there could be one coin so odd, so astonishingly flawed, so uniquely different that collectors would battle for it, investors would chase it and auction houses would crave it, all because this single cent contains a combination of rare errors that the mint never intended to release but somehow slipped through the cracks and into the hands of someone who might not have even realized its worth at first glance. When we talk about a 2005 penny potentially reaching a value of $32 million, we need to understand what makes it so extraordinary, and that starts with error types that are almost never found together on a single coin, such as a dramatic double die obverse where the date and lettering show clear doubling that looks almost like a shadow frozen into the metal, giving the coin a distorted but electrifying appearance that instantly grabs the attention of error specialists, and then combine that with the possibility of an off-center strike where the entire design is shifted significantly to one side so that part of Abraham Lincoln's profile or the outer rim appears cut or incomplete, a visual flaw that collectors often seek but extremely rare in perfectly preserved condition, and imagine further that this off-center strike isn't mild but extreme, perhaps 60% off-center, yet the date remains visible, something that skyrockets desirability. But this hypothetical $32 million 2005 penny becomes even more fascinating when you consider that it might also be struck on the wrong planchet, meaning instead of the standard copper-plated zinc composition used for pennies after 1982, it could have been mistakenly struck on a foreign coin blank or even a blank meant for another US denomination such as a dime planchet, which would make the coin smaller, thinner and lighter than normal while still carrying the unmistakable design of the Lincoln Memorial cent, and such wrong planchet errors are extremely rare, especially in later years when mint quality control had significantly improved. Now picture this, a 2005 penny that not only has doubling and an off-center strike and a wrong planchet issue, but also shows a dramatic broad strike error where the collar failed during minting, causing the coin to expand outward in a strange smooth, rimless form while still keeping all the design elements visible, creating a stretched or enlarged appearance that looks almost alien compared to a normal cent. And collectors love broad strikes because they show the exact moment the minting machinery malfunctioned. Adding to its mystery, perhaps the coin shows signs of a die clash, a quirky error where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving ghost-like impressions of one side embedded faintly onto the other, meaning you might see shadows of the Lincoln Memorial on Lincoln's portrait side, or hints of Lincoln's head on the reverse, blending into the coin like a hidden watermark and making the piece even more striking and valuable from a numismatic standpoint. And then imagine if the coin also features a partial collar error where the rim appears slightly raised or uneven because the planchet didn't sit properly inside the striking chamber, creating an unusual ridge that catches the light differently than a normal penny would, and such layered combinations of mint mistakes are almost unheard of in modern coins, especially after the 1990s when tighter quality control measures were put in place. Yet even more intriguing is the possibility that this coin was part of a small experimental batch or a transitional mishap during a time when the mint was adjusting machinery, swapping dies, or conducting internal tests, and during these periods tiny mistakes can occur that slip out in the form of coins with ultra-rare features, making them instantly valuable if discovered. Another possibility that drives its price into the multi-million-dollar range is its condition, because error coins found in near-perfect or uncirculated state are incredibly scarce, especially from 2005 when billions of pennies entered daily circulation. If this coin somehow escaped wear and tear, retained its mint luster and remained crisp with sharp details despite its errors, then collectors would recognize it as an extraordinary treasure, worthy of museum-level attention. Add to that the historical curiosity of the 2005 minting year, a period where the US Mint was transitioning in processes and updating various equipment, creating small windows where unintentional mistakes could occur, and suddenly the idea of a 1 in a billion penny becomes much more imaginable, and when a coin combines extreme rarity, dramatic errors, flawless condition, and an origin wrapped in minting mystery, collectors begin to treat it like a mythical artifact. And of course, scarcity drives value, so if only one such 2005 error penny exists, or even if only a very tiny handful were ever produced before the error was caught and corrected, the rarity alone could push the price far beyond standard valuations and into the tens of millions, especially when wealthy collectors or institutions compete at auction, escalating bids in a fierce battle to own a piece of minting history that no one else can ever replace. But the legend of this coin becomes even more electrifying when we consider the story behind its discovery, because often these rare multimillion-dollar coins aren't found in coin shops or vaults but in ordinary pocket change, drawers, jars or coin rolls that everyday people search casually, making the dream of finding life-changing wealth in a simple penny feel possible for anyone. And such stories fuel the excitement of hobbyists and viewers alike who imagine themselves stumbling across a rare treasure without ever expecting it. As we explore the possibilities, we also think about how unusual die errors, striking misalignments, transitional planches, and multi-layered mechanical mistakes can blend together to produce a single extraordinary piece that defies logic, a coin that wasn't meant to exist yet survived the minting process and journeyed into the world unnoticed until the right person examined it closely enough to realize its rarity. And that realization is what makes the world of coin collecting so magical, because the most valuable coins are often the ones born from accidents, mistakes, and overlooked details that transform a simple object into something priceless. And when experts study a coin like this, they consider not just what is visible on the surface but the deeper mechanical story hidden in the metal, the silent tale of a mint machine misalignment or a die error that changed the coin's destiny forever. So as we imagine this remarkable 2005 1-cent coin valued at $32 million, we're not just talking about a copper-colored disc, we're talking about a once-in-a-lifetime anomaly, a coin that stands at the intersection of luck, rarity, human error, and historical curiosity, and its value represents not only its physical flaws but the excitement, passion, and mystery that draw collectors into the numismatic world. And who knows, perhaps somewhere out there, in a piggy bank, in a forgotten box, in a pocket change jar or in a roll sitting on a store shelf, another extraordinary penny waits to be discovered, reminding us all that sometimes the smallest things hold the biggest surprises and the tiniest details can lead to life-changing discoveries. So keep searching, keep checking, and never underestimate even the humblest 1-cent coin, because history has shown that hidden treasures often come in the most unexpected forms.